it's almost been a year since I went through the Navy Federal pre-approved process. And the video that I made October of 2020, y'all, I still get a lot of questions on that. So in this video, we're going to talk about, my experience with the Navy Federal pre-approved process, and we're going to answer some of you guys' questions. So let's get into it. Hey everybody, I'm Tasha with the Major Change Group, and we believe small changes can create big results. And if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. We talk about credit, budgeting, and student loans. I got my 2021 Hyundai Tucson for $20,299, and I got a 2.19% interest rate at 60 months. My car note is $357.95. Now, $299 was gap insurance, and I got that gap insurance through the auto loan. Now, we all know once you drive off the dealership, the depreciation on the car is going to go down. So what I owe on the car and what I would get for the car is two different things. Although I did the Kelley Blue Book on my car, and I'm doing pretty good right now. But in the grand scheme of things, if something was to happen, I still owed a lot on the car, and the gap insurance is gonna fill in the gap to where I would get all of my money back. So that's why I did the gap insurance, but everybody doesn't necessarily do that, because I want to say on my last car, I did not get gap insurance, and that was an older car. But on this car, I did get gap insurance. Call in, so you can either call in to start the auto loan pre-approved process, or you can go online. Now, I suggest calling in, but it's a pretty quick process. So I called in, and what they're going to ask you is, one, do you want to get a used car or a new car? And always go onto the Navy Federal site, because it'll tell you if you get a new car, here's what your interest rate is. If you get a used car, here's what your interest rate is. Now, you're not going to really know what your interest rate is going to be until after you get approved, but you can always take a look at your credit to see, how is my credit looking, because that might give you an idea. But then y'all know with Navy Federal, I don't know, all of the rules don't always apply. So when I went through the auto loan pre-approved process, my credit score was a 681. Now, y'all, I could not believe this. I thought my credit score was over 700, but y'all know we got like 5 different credit scores. And so they used my TransUnion, I want to say FICO 8 or FICO 9 credit score, and that was a 681 at the time. And how I realized was after I had did the pre-approved process and I had got my card, Navy Federal mailed me something in the mail to let me know what my credit score was. And so that's how I know it. And I'll put the video, because I had ended up making a video saying like, wow, how was I able to get with a 681, how was I able to get a 2.19% interest rate? So that was amazing. Then, and y'all, I did not get approved immediately. They had to do an additional review, but I got approved that next morning, probably by 9 o'clock, because I did it on a Friday night at 6. By 9 o'clock Saturday morning, I was approved. Now, the first question that I get in regards to when should you apply for the Navy Federal Auto Loan, when you just joined. Now, I would say it's not going to matter when you apply. You can join Navy Federal and become a member, and then probably 5 minutes later, you can apply for the Navy Federal Auto Loan pre-approved process. Because I know my sister, that's what she did. My sister had joined Navy Federal, and then she applied like 5 minutes later. Now, it's possible that they might have to get more information compared to me. I applied after a year with me being with Navy Federal, and even though they had to do an extra review or further review, I didn't have to send them any information. But say like my sister, when she had became a member and she applied within 5 minutes, I believe that she had to provide them with some additional information, and I did not have to do that. So you can apply. You don't have to wait, but you have to be willing to provide those additional information, because you have to think with Navy Federal, they're in a league of their own, right? Because, does your credit score matter? Like, I really don't know, but they have their own rules. They have an internal score as well, But if you just apply and become a member with Navy Federal, they're not going to have that internal data to really be able to look to see, okay, are they making their payments on time? Are they in good standings? You know, how are they using their accounts compared to somebody that's been there for a whole year? Now, even though they use their internal score, they're still going to pull your credit. They're going to pull your TransUnion credit score. So you still want to take a look at your credit to see, okay, how is my payment history? How is my credit utilization? Is it under 30%, or even better, is it under 10%? How many inquiries do I have on my account? You know, just take a look at your credit profile to see how is my credit doing. Now, I'm not going to say that that's going to, you know, change your chances of getting approved, because Navy Federal has their own things, but you still want to kind of know what your credit report is looking like. The second question that I get is, how long does it take you to get approved for the Navy Federal pre-approved process? Now, like I said, when I applied, I didn't get approved then and there. They said that they had to do a further review, but it was pretty much not even 12 hours. I don't even think it was 12 hours, because I had applied around probably like 6 o'clock Friday afternoon, and then by 9 or 10 o'clock the next morning on that Saturday, I was approved. So it didn't take that long. But then also, like my sister, she applied, and I think maybe she was approved the next day. So it took her a day. So I think it's going to fluctuate, but I don't think it's going to be like a week. I think it just might be a day or so. Now, the next question I got was around being a part-time worker, and they wanted to make a $3,000 down payment. So this is really two questions in one. So first, with someone being a part-time, I don't necessarily think that that's wrong, because even if you are part-time, you could make a pretty decent wage. And if you have a good credit profile, and even if you've been with Navy Federal for a while and your account is in good standing and they can see that you depositing money in your account, it's still a probability that you can get approved. So I don't think by being a part-time worker that is going to decrease your chances. The second piece of that is they wanted to put $3,000 down on their, when they purchased the car. Now, when I got my auto loan, I did not put any money down. Now, I did trade in a car, but I didn't put any money down. And I don't necessarily think that you need to put any money down, because the thing is, when you're doing the Navy Federal auto loan pre-approved process, you're getting a check from Navy Federal with the amount. So my check was for $20,000, even though my loan was for $20,299, because it was just for the gap insurance. They certified mailed me a check. So it took maybe like 2 or 3 days, because I got approved on a Saturday, and I want to say by that Monday or Tuesday, I had the check. So then I went to the dealership, I looked at cars, and once I figured out which car I wanted, the dealer actually asked me, okay, so how are we going to do this? I let them know that I had a check for $20,000, so it was going to be no need for me to do financing through the dealership. Then I had my old car that I was going to actually do a trade-in, so that was all that I did. And then I gave them the check, and then they actually call Navy Federal and then get all the deets on the car, and then that's how it goes. But for me, since you already know how much you want. Now, this is kind of where it's tricky, to where going back to the beginning, where I feel like you have to do your budget, you have to know your credit, because I don't know that you can just call Navy Federal up. It depends on how much money you have coming in and all that kind of stuff. So, if you make a low wage, I don't know that you could just ask them for $40,000. You see what I'm saying? Compared to maybe you can get 10 or 15. I don't know. And even go on the Loan You Later app and kind of look to see, okay, how much would the auto loan be and all that kind of stuff. And so I was a little bit more realistic. I don't even know if I was just realistic, because I probably could have got an auto loan for a lot more, but I was more realistic for my budget, because I didn't want to be eating bologna sandwiches and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to do a little bit more modest, but still upgrade myself a little bit compared to what I had before. So I think that's a good thing is just to really consider how much you want to ask for. So I think if you ask for the right amount, you're not going to have to put any money down. And especially if you can negotiate with the dealership for the amount. So for myself, like my dad, he was saying that I should have asked for like $25,000, but I knew that I wanted my car to be $20,000 or less. Now, if I could have had my way, I really would have preferred for my loan to be like $17,000 or something like that, a little bit less. I didn't really want it to be 20, because see, that was my max, $20,000, because that was what my check was for. But my dad was like, I should have got it for like 25, but I'm like, no, because see, the thing is, if I would have got it for 25, then I probably would have got a car for 25. So I wanted to max myself out at 20,000, and then so when we were negotiating, because technically the car was like $20,400, and we were trying to negotiate. So you'll have to watch those videos. And then my dad, he ended up paying the $400 on it. But so my loan was for $20,000. Because see, they really wanted me to be like 22 or 20, but I was just like, no, I didn't want to do that. And I think that my auto loan, I think that the car was like 26. And then with my trade-in and me being able to negotiate it, I was able to get it at $20,000. Because you have to remember, when you call Navy Federal in to start the pre-approved process, they're going to ask you, how much do you want the car loan for? And so you really just want to consider a good number to where you really have a high probability of getting approved. And so I don't think it's going to matter if you are part-time, full-time. You just have to ask for, like the sweet spot. And also, you have to check out one of my other videos where I was talking about, like, you have the power. When you're going in to the dealership and you have the check, for me, the check is what gave me my power to where I was just like, okay, I'm going to negotiate it. Because first I had went to the Hyundai dealership, and then I had went to the Mazda dealership. I already had a Mazda, and I really wanted to get a Mazda, but they wouldn't let me negotiate. So then I had to go back to the Hyundai dealership. And then when I was at the Hyundai dealership, I was able to negotiate what I wanted. And then I ended up leaving. And then they ended up calling me back. And so I was like, when they called me back, I knew I kind of had them in my hand to be able to get what I wanted. So you'll definitely have to watch that video as well, to where when you're going to get your car and once you get the check, just realize like you can really try to negotiate for yourself. Now I can say that it is a little bit different compared to, say, when I had went to get my car in October, and then now, I know the inventory is a little bit different, because even with my sister, like when she's upstate New York, and when she went to the Hyundai dealership, and when she went to get her car, they wasn't negotiating with her as much because they didn't have as much inventory compared to me. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and we have like 3 or 4 Hyundai dealerships. So, and the dealership that I went to, they had a lot of Tucson's. So I feel like I had more room to negotiate because they had more inventory. I would say the most important thing to remember is when you're starting the auto loan pre-approved process, 1, they're going to pull your TransUnion score. 2, take a look at your credit to see how's your credit profile looking. 3, look to see how much you want to ask them for. 4, know how much money you have coming in, because they're going to ask you, what is your annual income? Next, you want to be able to tell them how much your mortgage or your rent is. And then the next thing is, it's only going to take probably not even a day to be approved. You can apply either online or you can call in. I called in and it probably didn't even take 20 minutes, but it only probably took 20 minutes because I was asking a few questions, but it really only took maybe like 10 minutes. But I was asking some additional questions, and you can always go to the Navy Federal location to pick up your check. But where I live in Nashville, Tennessee, the next location, it was going to be maybe like an hour 30 minutes away from me. So that's why they sent it certified mail, and I got it pretty quick. And then after I had went to the dealership, I took the check, and then they called Navy Federal and gave them all the information on the car. After that, it probably was maybe 2 days where they sent me a message, and I went to the Navy Federal portal on the app, and I finished my promissory note. So y'all, it's like the process is so easy. It's really quick. It doesn't take a whole long time. I would say the main thing is doing the front end stuff, knowing what kind of car you want and then how much you want to get the auto loan for, and do you want gap insurance. So let me know if you have any questions, but I definitely hope that this was helpful. Please like, subscribe, share with a friend, and turn your notification bell on so you will be the first to know when new content drops. I thank you so much for watching. Until next time.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.